Good day. It's the Australian way of saying hi, right? We're standing outside of our building, and we have a lot of wood behind us because
this is our back alley. In case anybody's never been down here.
Yeah.
Right. So we have this, fire exit down the side, but we got some building stuff happening.
It's turned into a workshop. Yeah.
So this is our workshop. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. There's wonderful things happening, and the reason for that is because we have drama camp coming just in a couple of weeks. We're working on these Psalms passages, and at the end of all that is drama camp, and so we're very excited where God is leading us in that, and so things are getting built. Mm-hmm. We're not going to show you what that is just yet,
although you may see hints of it on Sunday.
It's going to be around. You'll see a bit of it Sunday, but there's exciting things happening, and so we're very thankful for all the people that are already this is where some of the hands-on gets going, but up to this stage, it's a lot of mental preparation, and now, stuff is getting built and put together and painted and prepped, and it's just the run to the finish line. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that happens every time we do a drama. It's lots of lead up, and then all of a sudden, lots of activity, and then it's done. And so, but. We should just reverse. We usually look back first, but we're looking ahead. Let's just keep looking ahead. What's the drama called again? It's
the drama is called Judge Julie Truly and the Case of the Holy Roof.
Yes, that's right. And
HOLEY.
Yeah, like holes in it. Yeah. Holy Roof.
And, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and it's based on Luke 5, right? The story from Luke 5. So we're excited about all that happens during that week where we tell kids about the story and what it really means, and as they try to bring it alive in a fun drama. It's really cool. So, but a lot of work has happened. Lori puts a lot of work in ahead of time. Kevin puts a lot of work ahead of time, and as you can see here, we're putting a lot of work. So so that's coming up August 20.
Yep.
Is the show on Sunday morning.
That's when the performance is for the churches. It'll be here at the church on the Sunday morning, but that whole week is the full camp. So that begins on August 14th, first thing in the morning, Monday morning.
Yeah. So we tell you this so that you can be praying for those kids. There's 28 kids or something? Yeah. A lot of kids coming, a lot that have been in drama before but are not part of our church. So we this is our connection point, and we can share truths from the Bible, the truth of the gospel with them. So be praying for the kids, be praying for Kevin and Lori and all the people that are helping lead. We're excited about that. So it's kind of one of the big things over the summer that we just get to be part of. So that's looking forward. That's coming up. But looking back on Sunday, we talked about Psalm 1, the first of the 150 Psalms. What stood out to you about Psalm 1, Kevin?
So the series is called Desires of the Soul, and so talking about what we long for, and through Jeff, leading us through that, and even through the brief video that we showed that kind of recapped what you had just said. I loved that they pointed out that central part of verse 2, I believe, where it talks about delighting in the law, and that the law is to be meditated, right? So somebody who delights and meditates, and those two things kind of come together, and it becomes kind of a central focus. But as I got thinking about it, we said desires of the soul, right? And so how delighting in something, focusing on it, meditating on it, kind of churning along with something, actually seeing some beauty in it, and then it actually becomes something that we long for even more, and it kind of draws us in as we enjoy it a bit. And so it's almost like desire and delight kind of work together, and one kind of plays off the other, and it's really focusing on this verse 2 of the law of the Lord. And then through all that, it shows that this man prospers in everything he does, and not so like the wicked, and right. And so there's just a beautiful thing. So for me, it was kind of that central Central Park.
I liked it too. If you remember the video, if not, you can go back and watch Sunday's service. But
Or you can even find that video on YouTube, right? So
Bible Project,
right.
Psalm 1, yeah.
View it on your phone. It's
Yeah.
a great experience on your phone to see that video.
And it's kind of made for the phone. You can kind of see that when it's on the screen. But he called it an infinity loop, right? So like as we meditate on the law, or as better, probably a better translation is the wisdom or instruction of God, which all of the Bible is that. Not like law, like what we think, do this, don't do that. It's more the story. But the law, the wisdom, as we meditate on it, as we think about it, as we ponder, as we talk about it, then that grows our delight. And as we delight more in it, we want to meditate more. And he called it an infinity loop. I thought that was really cool. I really liked that.
Yeah. That one kind of feeds the other. It's beautiful.
And then in the context of the whole thing, that's how we learn to make choices. We make choices and decisions, not that lead us further and further into sinfulness, but that lead us closer and closer to Jesus, right? And every choice is directing us one way or the other, and we come with choices all the time. And so the whole psalm is kind of helping us reflect on, what are the choices? It was kind of interesting. Cheryl's parents were here over the weekend, and something came up after when we got home that afternoon, and they said, "Oh, so you're deciding to do that?" And instead, they were actually,
they were already saying that Jeff, you're choosing the wrong path.
Well, I think they were like noticing that I made a good choice, but then, well, what about the choice you made last night or something? I forget, but it was just kind of neat that we were already talking about, oh yeah, this little thing is a choice, right? And so as you the choices making, as we were talking about autopilot, I gave the story about being on autopilot. Do you have experiences like that, where you're on autopilot?
Yeah, there was one time we were traveling, and I have experiences, other people have experiences, but I was in the car, and you're just driving along, and you're just kind of enjoying the scenery, and all of a sudden, I thought I was following this big truck, and this truck was on the right spot, and it was before GPS, and it was before all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're way out in the middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan. We turn around and we find our way back. Yeah, it's just because you're just looking around. You're enjoying, but that was the wrong path.
But we think of driving, but autopilot happens a lot, in other areas too, right? Where you just all of a sudden you're like, wait, what was I doing? You walk into a room for something, and then you're like, what was I going to get? Because you're just autopiloting. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where, but where Paul in the New Testament is talking about, examining your life and looking at your life, and he kind of says, don't go into autopilot is another way of translating it, or live circumspectly, meaning if you're here, look at yourself through this perspective, but also move around and look at it from this perspective, and look at your life from that perspective. So you're living and looking, circumspectly, circular, looking at, I think that's how we're called to live, is not going into autopilot. That's a tough one, right? Because especially in parenting, our kids are getting older, and we
just react the same way we've always been, instead of thinking about, wait, what am I teaching with how I, even in how I'm, am I teaching something in how I'm, doing this? And I think that's part of what Psalm 1's talking about. We need to look at the choices we're making, and where do they lead, So
I think we can do the same thing sometimes in church on a Sunday morning.
This is what it's always done.
I hate to say it, but there's been a few times I've been on stage and I'm singing away, and I've sang the song before. And all of a sudden I wake up and shoot, I miss my line. I miss, the people at the back doing the lyrics. They said, "Oh, Kevin, you were in autopilot," right? But I think that's also what it's talking about. Even in the way that we attend, the way that we care for other people, it can't be on autopilot, right? It has to be an active choice that God is leading us to the right path, not just the easiest path.
And we're involved in those choices. there's so many ways we can go with this, but it's fascinating to me, this autopilot thing. One of the things that I have tried to intentionally do, to go on autopilot in things that aren't as important, so that I don't in things that, because you kind of, I read somewhere that as you go through the day, your ability to think or to ponder or to, the more decisions you make, the more tired you get, right? Yeah. So I've tried to put things on autopilot that I don't have to think about, that are good for me, so that then when I do have to make a choice. So, for example, I eat the same breakfast every day, I have the same routine every morning, and those things I can just do on autopilot, so that when I come to things that I really should be thinking about, I have capacity for it. I don't know, did anything else come to mind for you? This autopilot thing is actually a big metaphor for a lot of things.
Yeah, sometimes I get stuck in it too.
Anyways, Psalm 1, pretty amazing psalm. Simple message, choose the good things that are good, avoid the things that are not. But as you ponder that and think about, as we just did, there's so much more. So hope that is something for you to ponder and think about and meditate on this week. And we're looking forward to Psalm 46 on Sunday, another psalm about, I think it's about another desire that our soul has. Yeah. And so look forward to sharing that with you on Sunday. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, you can continue to pray for the Millers, who are kind of closing their time off on sabbatical in the next week or so.
This is their last week, really.
Last full week, pretty much.
Chris will be back in the office next week. So, and speaking of Chris being back in the office, he's going to have a lot to do for this drama. So, but thank you for praying for us and for each other, and for our togetherness in pursuing the gospel and the good news of Jesus. So we hope you have a great week. God bless.